All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching this webinar on how to respond to a records request. There's no audio taping or videotaping allowed. Any unauthorized reproduction, dispensing, forwarding, or copying of this target coding webinar is illegal. The information I'm going to be giving you is for educational purposes. It's not intended to be legal advice. We're not attorneys. We don't give out legal information. Every attempt has been made to make certain the information in this presentation is 100% accurate. However, it's not guaranteed. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Dr. Marty Kotler. I'm the president of Target Coding. I'm a chiropractor. I practiced for many years, 16 years, and about 12 years ago, I started a company called Target Coding. I'm the president of the company. I'm also a certified professional compliance officer. I am a certified billing and coding specialist. So I consider myself kind of unique because most chiropractors are not certified coders. Most certified coders are not chiropractors. So I take those two unique situations where I know a lot about being in the trenches, diagnosing patients, treating patients, and now I have this coding background, this expertise in compliance. I mesh the two together, and I've been helping thousands of chiropractors and staff members over the last 12 years with reimbursement, with proper billing, with audit prevention, making sure you're not leaving any money on the table, maximizing reimbursement, making sure you're getting as much cash as possible from your patients without violating any state laws. You know, there are some states that don't allow you to take prepay plans over a certain amount. So even with cash practices, there are certain things you need to do to make sure you're not violating any laws and rules. So I take those things, put them together, been helping a lot of offices for the past 12 years. I've also written many books. We sell training videos. We have 11 videos that we've produced that are available for sale. I write articles to all the major publications in the chiropractic profession, all the newspapers and journals that you get, like Chiropractic Economics, Dynamic Chiropractic, the American Chiropractor. A lot of state association newsletters have me contribute articles to them. I also speak at many conventions nationwide. I'm a guest speaker at many state association conventions, Parker seminars, Foot Leveler seminars. So there's a little bit about myself. So now let's begin the presentation. This is a question that we get, which led me to creating this webinar and presenting this information. We received a question from a doctor, and here it is. I just received a letter from an insurance company requesting copies of my exam, SOAP notes, and financial records on 14 patients. I am concerned. Some of my notes are not good. And on some dates of service, I don't even have any notes. What should I do? So you get a letter like this. I'm sorry, you have a situation like this, it could be concerning. Now, if this question was, which we've had, this happened, Dr. Kotler, I got a request for notes from an insurance company. I feel like my notes are pretty good. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. My notes are good. I feel like I've documented everything properly. I feel like I bill appropriately. So could be a little bit of a concern. Nobody likes to have their notes requested, right? I don't care if you're, you are perfect with your notes and you cross every T and dot every I. It's not so much fun to have somebody snooping around. So you could have a little bit of a concern if you think your notes are pretty good. This doctor, he's concerned because he's admitting he doesn't even have notes on some dates of service at all. So let's start going through the action steps here that you would need to take if you get a letter requesting your records. Let's go through the key points. Step one, this might sound very simple and basic. Check the names of the patients listed in the letter you received from the carrier. Are these your patients? Yes, I know that might sound like a strange question, but I've had some doctors. Now, I've been involved with over 150 audits over the last 12 years, so I have quite a bit. I don't know how many people in the chiropractic and consulting industry have dealt with that many over the last 12 years, but I feel like I have a really good handle on this. So this has happened a few times where the insurance company sends the doctor a list of patients to get records on. The doctor says to me, Marty, I don't even know who these patients are. These are not my patients. So I know that sounds silly. You just want to make sure that they're asking for the, now that would be a great response to the insurance company. Dear insurance company, these are not my patients. Leave me alone. Go away. Case closed. So just want to make sure that the letter that you received was really intended for you. Okay, let's go to the next key point here. Pull the charts. Start to review them. Do the dates of service in your chart notes coincide with the dates of service that the carrier is requesting? Another thing I've seen, okay, so we got the right patient, but they're asking for dates of service. I didn't even see the patient. Here's another thing that pops up. Dr. Kotler, the insurance company, is asking me for notes on patients. Fortunately, I've only seen these patients like 3 times. So I'm like, well, is that good or bad? 3 times, it would be nice if you saw patients more. That means more revenue, I guess. So start to pull the charts, start to review them. Do the dates of service coincide with the dates of service the letter's requesting? Let's assume the answer is yes. Let's assume they got the right patients, they got the right dates of service. What's next? After your initial chart review, ask yourself if you'll be able to gather all the information requested by the deadline. They will give you a deadline. They will tell you, we want records and we want them by a certain date. Typically, it's 30 days from the date of the letter. This may not be possible for you to gather all the records within 30 days. Might be a lot going on in your life. You might not have the records on site. Maybe you need to contact your office manager to start gathering the record. It just might not be reasonable 30 days. Call the insurance company. Request an extension. Here's where some doctors feel, oh, is that going to admit my guilt? Is it going to make me look bad? Is it a strike against me already if I ask for an extension? The answer is no. You have things going on in your life. You can't get all the records within the time frame. Ask for an extension. I can tell you again, doing this for a while, 99% of the time, you will be granted another 30 or 60 days. It's typically not an issue. It's not unusual. It's normal to ask for an extension. It's not a big deal. However, again, been doing this a while. There are some docs, they go, Marty, I don't want an extension. I want to get this over with. I'm going to do this. I want to get it to them. I don't want to mess around. I want to show them good faith that I'm going to take care of this right away. Fine. If you want to, get this going, but sometimes it's just not possible to get everything together. One of the reasons why it might not be possible is because many doctors will send me the notes to review before they get sent in. So by the time you get in touch with me, and depending upon how many notes I need to review, we could be getting closer to that deadline. So that's one really good reason why you may want to ask for an extension, is because you want to review the notes. Maybe you want to hire an expert to look at them before you even send them in. I'll tell you why it would be a good idea to have an expert look at them before you send them in a little bit later. So you can call the carrier, ask for a request. Next, if you make the call, you may now have the opportunity to speak to the investigator. This could be a good thing. I don't recommend you provide any information that could hurt you. Again, doing this a long time. Some doctors, they just don't know what they're doing. Staff members that have never had any experience, they start spewing information to the investigator. That could be a problem. You don't have to be so forthcoming about everything. Remember, you have now someone that's snooping around, looking at you, analyzing you. You want to make sure that you are doing the right thing. So some attorneys, if you contact an attorney, they might not recommend you speak to the investigator at all. Okay, I mean, if you have an attorney, you want to follow the lead, especially if the attorney, typically I let the attorney, if the doctor gets an attorney and is going to have an attorney be involved with the negotiations and be involved with the case, I usually let the attorney be the lead, and I'll follow the lead. I'll sometimes get placed on the attorney-client privilege, and I let the attorney be the quarterback, and I'm the receiver. But there, oh boy, there are many times where doctors have hired attorneys that do not know what they're doing. And it's just, the way it goes. The doctor may hire a friend, a neighbor, a relative that's an attorney that has no experience. I'm working with one doctor right now. United Healthcare wants $300,000 back. He has an attorney. I said, has your attorney ever dealt with United Healthcare? Has the attorney ever dealt with a post-payment audit? He said, no. Okay, I'm not, I'm on board. So what ends up happening is I end up giving the attorney a lot of the quote unquote insider secrets and educating the attorney. I mean, I don't love having to teach the attorney all about audits. Just like I don't think an attorney would want to be teaching me all the coding, compliance, and documentation tips that would be required in a situation like this, but I'll do it. My client asked me to if my clients ask me to educate their attorney on, how to deal with these situations, I will. However, I don't see anything wrong with asking the investigator for an I do not see anything wrong with asking the investigator why you're choosing for the chart review. Aha, there we go. You see, that's one of the biggest issues when I get a call and I'm speaking to a doctor that's been asked for notes or already has been asked for money back. One of the main things they say to me is, Dr. Cutler, why? Why was I chosen for this? I've been in practice 15 years. I've been billing for 15 years. I've never had a problem. I send in my bills. I send my claims in. Never had a problem. Been getting paid. I don't understand. Why is this happening to me? Right? So that's where I give my 12 years of experience and say, okay, was this a random audit? Was it a targeted audit? Were you doing certain things? There are certain red flags that I'll find pretty quickly. I'll look at a doctor's notes. So right now I'm working with a doctor. He's being requested for notes on 20 patients. I'm starting to review the notes. Okay. I'm noticing that I think on about 14 out of the 20 patients, he recommended back braces on the very first visit. So right there, there's something that, if he said, Dr. Cutler, why was I chosen for this? I don't understand. I've been billing back braces for years. I've never had a problem. Why now? Yeah, well, that could be the reason. I'm not saying for sure. I don't know for sure until I hear it directly from the carrier or the investigator as to why the doctor was specifically chosen. But I could tell you, usually when I start digging in, I could see certain things and certain patterns and certain things the doctor's doing, like using modifiers on codes that don't even need modifiers, upcoding, downcoding, patients seeing the chiro, the PT, the acupuncturist all on the same day, TENS machines, but there's a lot of things. 98941 on every patient, on every visit for the last 12 years. So I could usually narrow it down and give the doctor, instead of the doctor just wondering, why was I chosen for this? What did I do? I could usually figure it out pretty quickly. And if I can't, that's okay too. Maybe it was just a random audit, just like, at the airport, people, all right, you've been chosen. It's a random. Okay, that's possible. But again, if you're speaking to the investigator, do not volunteer any information that could link you to any wrongdoing. Next, after copying all the requested information, I typically recommend providing the carrier with a treatment summary. Not a treatment plan, a treatment summary that's dated today, no backdating. Can't go back and change notes, alter notes, delete anything. You need to make a change, you use today's date. You need to put together a little story explaining what's going on with the patient. You date it today, even though the patient's visits may have been from 3 years ago. Why do I think that's a good idea? It could help the carrier understand your clinical approach. Now, this is the question I typically ask the doctor when they get a request for records. Do you think your notes are good? Sometimes the doctor says, yeah, I think my notes are pretty good. Dr. Kotler, I've been to your seminars, I've read your books, I have your videos, I'm pretty good at doing the right thing. So I think my notes are pretty good. So in that case, it's rare. I'd say about 20% of the time I hear that. I say, okay, make copies of the notes and send them in. Okay, Dr. Kotler, I'm not worried. I'm making copies, send them in. And usually it's not an issue. 80% of the time, the doctor says, I don't think my notes are that great. I don't think they're really as good as the insurance company. I think I'm a little sloppy. I'm looking at them. I don't think I signed the notes, or, I did a time code. I don't think okay, so it is what it is, right? But you could put together a treatment summary describing this patient and what the patient was like and what the patient experienced as a result of your care, giving the insurance company an idea that because of your care, the patient could walk up and down the stairs better, can sleep through the night better, is feeling much better because of your treatments. Explain that in the treatment summary. Let the investigator know that your care was quote unquote medically necessary. That's number one. Make sure your notes can prove the medical necessity. If you didn't sign the note, okay, we can get over that. You didn't cross one T, you didn't dot one I, okay, but as long as your note appears as though the care was medically necessary, insurance payable, not patient feels fine, it's a wellness visit, we have a big problem there. But if you feel that, care was necessary, then that's step one. So a treatment summary is an excellent way to get the investigator to understand. Now, they're not required. You don't have to put together a treatment summary, but I could tell you they help tremendously. And that's not coming from me. It's coming from the insurance companies telling the lawyers, who then in turn tell me that the treatment summaries were extremely helpful. So that's why I put them together and provide them to the doctors that are in a post-payment audit. Different than a prepayment audit. You don't need a treatment summary in a prepayment audit. Now, they are very, very helpful, a treatment summary. However, they could be time consuming. Many insurance carriers post their policies, position statements. So if you've been requested for, like Doctor recently, Cigna wants $400,000 back from this chiropractor. I asked the chiropractor, have you ever read Cigna's policy on chiropractic? Doctor said no. Well, let's go through it together. And moving forward, let's make sure we are following everything they say. In their policy, if they say jump, you say how high. You want to continue to collect $400,000. Now, it's interesting how a lot of chiropractors, especially the ones making over $1 million a year from insurance companies, complain about insurance. Well, I don't know if you want to complain. If you want to, could you make $1 million anywhere else? So my recommendation is do what they tell you to do so you can continue to lead the lifestyle you want. So if you want to continue, I told the doctor, I know you are upset with Cigna. I know that, they want money back. So do you want to continue to see patients? Yes, Dr. Kotler. Do you want to continue to practice? You're only in practice 8 years. Do you plan on practicing for many more years? Okay, let's make nice with the insurance companies. That was what I typically say. If you plan on staying in practice for a while, you want to continue to bill and make money from Cigna and collect $400,000 a year, then let's put together a treatment protocol that's designed specifically on their policy. It's very simple. They tell you exactly what they want in their policy. Medicare does it wonderfully. I've been doing Medicare seminars for the last 12 years. I feel like I don't even deserve the credit because Medicare tells you exactly what they want. So I take what Medicare says they want, and I've been teaching it. But yet, thousands of chiropractors just don't get it. They don't understand. They've never read the policy. I just was working with a chiropractor yesterday. He's in a prepayment audit, which we'll get to later, making over $1 million a year from Blue Cross Blue Shield. I asked him, have you ever read the policy on what they want? No, never read it. Read them. You'll learn so much. I have other clients that have mastered this. I have one client, he makes $12 million a year. He takes the insurance company policies and he just backs them into his documentation and makes his notes look exactly like the policies. He's been audited 6 times. He passed 5 of them without having to give a penny back. The one, he had to give a little money back. But every time he gets audited recently, he sends in the notes, no issues, because he creates his documentation based on exactly what the insurance companies want. Doesn't it make sense? So make sure to learn as much as possible about medical necessity. What is that? You'd be shocked how many doctors I work with and staff members that cannot give me the definition of medical necessity. Now, a patient can call an insurance company before they come in and say, hi, I'm calling to find out if my insurance covers chiropractic. You know what they're going to hear? Yes. Because of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, whether you like it or not, it mandated that chiropractic be included in every insurance plan. I thought that was a good thing. So a patient calls their insurance, hi, I want to go to Dr. Smith. Does my insurance cover chiropractic? They're going to hear yes, as long as it's medically necessary. You think the patient knows what that is? They don't know what medically necessary is. They heard, oh, I'm covered for 30 visits. They didn't hear you're covered for up to 30 visits as long as it's medically necessary. They just heard, I get 30 visits. No, that's not the way it goes. So hopefully you know how to explain to patients the difference between medically necessary insurance covered services and non-payable services. Got to go over that. Make sure you can link your CPT codes and your diagnosis codes. I'm going to go over that in a few minutes. Now, some providers attain the services of an attorney as soon as possible. That's okay. I don't see any downside. You want to get an attorney? I don't see anything wrong with speaking to an attorney. Some doctors say this, Dr. Kotler, if I get an attorney, isn't that admitting guilt? No, you're not admitting anything to anyone. You could take action. You could have strategy. You could speak to an attorney. You could have me take a look at your notes. It doesn't mean you're admitting guilt. You're not admitting anything. You're going to show them what you got and sit back and wait. The most important thing to do is stay calm. Just because you receive a request for records does not mean you did anything wrong. After you submit the requested information and you don't hear from them, just leave it alone. You don't want to poke the bear. Just stay calm. Many doctors, when they get a request for records or they get a request for money back, what I hear is, that's it. I'm selling my practice. That's it. I'm going to open up a Dunkin' Donuts. I've had it. It never happens. I've been with over 150 audits. I mean, I don't speak to all the doctors that I've helped over the last 12 years, but I don't think any of them have left the profession. I don't know any doctors personally that because of a audit have shut their office down. At least the ones that I know and I've helped, I don't see it. Now I know, I went to chiropractic college with a few guys that aren't in practice anymore. They decided to become teachers or work for the power company, for whatever reason. Yes, I know some doctors that have shut their offices, but typically after an audit, I mean, if you're bringing in $300,000 from Blue Cross Blue Shield and you get audited, what are you going to say? All right, that's it. I'm going to shut my office and open up a candy store. You're going to be able to make that type of money. You hang in there, you make nice, and you move on. And a lot, once you send the records in, again, stay calm. What could happen? That's the question I get. That's the 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 real question mark, the real, you know, mystery. What's going to happen to me, Dr. Kotler, after I send in the notes? Well, a few things could happen. One, nothing. I'd say about 30% of the time, you may not ever hear from them. Number two, you hear from them and they go, we got your notes and we're not going to do anything at the present time, but just be careful. You may want to, take some coding courses and they don't do anything. What else could happen? Number three, you may get put on a prepayment audit, which we're going to cover in a second. Number four, they may ask you for money back. Number five, they might take disciplinary action against you. Number six, they might take your license away. Number seven, it might turn into a criminal case and you might go to jail. Number eight, number nine, I can go through all the scenarios, but it doesn't make sense to look into a crystal ball. But we're really good at calming down doctors. I could tell you, many doctors, after they get that request for records, they are really upset and stressed out. We here at Target Coding, we know it's like crisis prevention. We know how to talk to the doctors and staff. We know how to calm everybody down. We're very good at doing that here at Target Coding. So here, post-payment audit, look at this one from Cigna, $250,978.50 Cigna wants after a review of the records. 99213, billed incorrectly, did not document sufficient key elements. 9714, did not document the type of manual therapy, the site, how the patient is doing. All these details, mechanical traction, billed incorrectly, wrong codes, wrong fees, wrong equipment, overpayment of electrical stem. Woo. And then we have prepayment audits. This doctor was requested to send in notes, sends in the notes, gets a letter back. To me, a prepayment audit, you're lucky if you go into a prepayment audit because they could have very easily asked for money back, like Cigna did. In this case, Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield of New York said, we got your records. We're not going to ask for any money back. Whew. We got your records. We hate your records. We really think that you don't know what you're doing. We really think you are lacking in a lot of areas of documentation, but, and this is a big but, we're not going to ask for any money back. But we're going to put you on a prepayment audit. So moving forward, send in your bills, send in your notes, and then we'll decide if we want to pay you. It could create chaos. It can cause a lot of confusion, but I could tell you it's better than a post-payment audit. So in this case, they said, we got your notes, and we're going to put you on a prepayment audit because there's no signatures. The templates appear, the treatment plans appear templated. There's no plan of care. They give you the reasons. That's the nice thing. You see, doing over 150 of these over the last 12 years, I get to see the findings from the insurance companies. So now I know exactly what they're looking for moving forward. I had a doctor recently, he's in a prepayment audit, but he didn't know why. I didn't know why. We couldn't get the information from the insurance company as to why the doctor was, see, the one you see on your screen, they're telling the doctor. They didn't want to tell this doctor why he was in a prepayment audit, but he was placed in one. So I start looking at his notes. I knew why. I handled it all. So then we finally, the attorney pushed and pushed and pushed. The attorney got the reasons why the insurance company thinks the notes were not good. I look at the list of items that they weren't happy with. They were all taken care of before we even got. We knew. I knew. The doctor didn't know. I knew why they put him in a prepayment audit before I even saw the letter. But in this case, they're telling him no plan of care. Some members' treatment indicates years of the same treatment without improvement, right? So they're giving you the reasons why. Here's another one. And this is coast to coast. This is Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield of California. They're saying the records did not contain a treatment plan, didn't explain this doctor is being on a prepayment audit for specifically the 97110 therapeutic exercises. They want to know what's going on because his notes were horrible as it relates to 97110. So they said, moving forward, if you're going to bill us, like they're hoping you stop billing, the code that they want you to, send them information on. They would prefer you stop billing it. But they said to this doctor, if you want to continue to bill us 97110, these are the things that you need to provide us moving forward. So now we got the answers to the test, so to speak. So the best thing to do is be proactive and prevent these from happening, right? Every doctor that I've dealt with in an audit, a post-payment audit, especially when the insurance company wants money back, they always say the same thing to me. I wish I would have done things to prevent this from happening, just like everything in life, right? So prevention is the key. What do? Put together policy on billing and coding. Put together a little manual. Then I often hear this question, why? Doctor, why do I need a manual? Well, especially for your staff. Your staff wants compliance. They want to work in an ethical and trustworthy environment. Also, if you ever have a staff member that accuses you of incorrect billing or coding, if the staff member read your policies on billing and coding and signed off on it, you're covered. Doctor, your policy will explain why you do. How many of you adjust full spine but only bill for one region? A lot of you, right? I did it in my practice. Patient says, I have neck pain, Dr. Kotler. All right, Mrs. Jones, lie down. I'll check the thoracics. I'll check the lumbars. But I'm only going to bill for the cervical region. Is that down coding? An insurance company can consider that down coding. Dr. Kotler, you adjusted 4 regions. You only billed this for 1. Why? What are you doing? You have a policy that explains it. Dr. Kotler, we found out you waived the deductible on this patient. What are you doing? You have a policy on it. Dr. Kotler, we don't know if your staff is being trained properly. Oh, we have a policy on that. We track our trainings, right? You got it covered. Be proactive. It's not fun to be proactive. I don't like going to the gym, but after I do it, I'm happy. But I dread exercising. I don't love exercising, but I do it anyway because I know I need to do it. I got to be proactive. You should be doing the same thing for your office. Create policies and procedures. There's a whole bunch here. I'm not going to get into all of them. How about a background check? You ever do background checks on your staff to prevent theft and criminal activity? We have a doctor right now we're dealing with, hired a CA. She was stealing from patients, stealing checks. You have a staff member that's involved with Medicare billing and coding. Go to the exclusions list. Put that person's name in it. See if they've been excluded from the program. These are the things that have come out over the years. This is recent. This office, the average chiropractor collects $17,000 a year from Medicare. This doctor collected $300,000. So Medicare's like, I think we should go take a look. If you're making $300 a year, you're not going to get audited. If you're collecting $3 million a year from an insurance company and everyone else is collecting $300,000, you're going to get looked at. The big fish get looked at, which is okay. See, the big fish that I deal with are smart people. The chiropractors that contact me that have million-dollar practices spend a lot of money on compliance. These are the same doctors that have huge life insurance plans. They have homeowners insurance for their practice. They get the max insurance on their cars. They have the largest $5 million umbrella policy. They're into protecting their business, their family, their life, their homes. That's why a lot of doctors get compliance plans, because they want to prevent problems. Here, this office was told by the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, we recommend establishing policies and procedures to ensure that the chiropractic services billed to Medicare are medically necessary, adequately documented, and in the medical records. You see, when Medicare or any insurance company strongly recommends something, you should do it. Even if you don't like it, you should do it. Again, I'm being told I need to exercise. Okay, I don't like it, but I got to do it. You have a policy on deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance? I hope so. This doctor better have one. He was asked to provide copies of patient billing ledgers, documents that show when bills were sent to the patient, how much money has been paid by the patient. You have a policy on Stark and anti-kickback? It's simple. Read them, understand them. You don't have to take too much action. Just read it and understand them. What's your policy on discounts? Can you discount patients? How much can you discount? 20%, 50%, 80%? The OIG has a policy on prompt pay or time of service discounts. What's your policy on free exams? Do you offer free exams, free x-rays? You have a policy on that? What's your policy? The OIG says you can give away a gift, $15. What's your policy on free exams, free services? This doctor got in big trouble. Had to pay an $80,000 fine. Why? He was giving free stim to his patients. Now, some of you might be saying, what? If I want to give away free stim to a patient, what's wrong with that? There could be a lot wrong with it. This should get your attention. Those of you giving away free services, don't mess around. I'm not really going to get into HIPAA. So just a few closing comments. I'd like to tell you about my 9-step action plan. Get proactive. You saw what I just did. Don't wait for the oil light to flash. If you don't have a simple billing and coding policy manual, find someone to help you put one together. Try putting one together yourself or contact us. We charge a very reasonable, affordable fee. We'll put one together with you. In a couple of weeks, you'll have one. And then we go over it and I show you how to use it. I show you how your staff has to sign off on all the forms. And then you could swan. You know what that means? Sleep well at night. That's my acronym. Review the policies, understand the what and why, do a self-test on your SOAP notes. Always keep learning how to improve your business, help more patients, conduct regular meetings. All right, so I just want to thank everybody for attending. Here's our contact information. We offer free consultations, free 15-minute consultations about anything you want to speak about. Contact us. There's my email, direct email, drkotler@targetcoding.com. Check out our website. There's the telephone number. You want to fax us some files to review. We have a HIPAA secure fax number. We have a HIPAA secure portal where you could upload. Don't just send files over an open AOL or Gmail account that's not encrypted. That's a HIPAA violation. So you have questions about anything relating to billing, coding, documentation, compliance, Medicare, DME, MD, DC, PT, joint injections, chiropractic manipulation, cash plans, subluxation-based chiropractic, special techniques like upper cervical technique, NUCA. How do you bill for that? ART, Graston, kinesiotaping. Any questions like that? Contact us for a free consultation. Getting denied, you don't know why. You're billing 2 diagnosis codes. Now the insurance company is bundling your diagnosis codes. You heard about bundling CPT codes? Now insurance companies are bundling diagnosis codes and not paying. Any questions like that, contact us for a free consult. Now, besides these webinars, we do seminars. We offer compliance programs, memberships, one-on-one consulting. We have training videos, books, forms. Oh, Ash, look at this. You need help with Ash? Doctors listening to this from New Jersey, staff members from New Jersey, you know it's coming, right? Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield has developed a relationship with Ash. So careful with that. Do you need help? Do you need to understand how to get more visits out of Ash? Let us know. You don't want to get more visits? You just want to get more cash from your Ash patients? Contact us. We have these live trainings. This is not a webinar like this. This is a live training, just your office and us. You pick the day, you pick the time, shove everybody, all your staff members into one office around one computer, and we do a training. It takes about 90 minutes, and we show you everything you need to know about Ash. And some of you have big Ash practices, right? So might want to take us up on that. And compliance. You need to be compliant in your practice, right? You can't say no. You must be compliant. Do you need to be compliant? You can't say no. You have to be compliant. It's a law. It's a rule. It's mandatory. So compliance is, I call it the big 3, HIPAA, OIG, and OSHA. We'll take care of this for you for $199. That's it, $199 a month. It only takes 1 year. This is not a 7-year contract. This is a 1-year agreement. Now, if you want to prepay and you think you can get this over with in 3 or 4 months, you could do that. We just stretch it out over a year, but it doesn't necessarily take a year. We just try and stretch the payments out over a year to make it easier. But if you said, Marty, I don't want to stretch it out over a year. I don't want to pay you over a year. I want to prepay, and let's get this over within 2 months or 3 months. Yeah, we could probably do this all in 2 or 3 months. Do you get HIPAA headaches? Do you get OIG procrastination? Do you get OSHA indigestion? We do all the heavy lifting. Just outsource it to us. Why even bother? I recently bought a barbecue. I was going to put it together myself. For $30, I could have the guy from the barbecue store do it for me. Why would I spend 2.5 hours trying to put it together? It's not worth my time and effort. Oh, we're doing our next, this is our cruise seminar. Those of you that were on our first annual cruise, how was it, right? Amazing. Well, we have our second annual cruise coming up in April. It's on the largest ship in the world, the Symphony of the Seas. 10 credits approved in record keeping, coding, risk management, medical errors. Also 10 credits approved for acupuncturists and certain CAs across the country. This has been approved for CAs. Join us. So much fun. HIPAA, Medicare. We do a lot here at Target Coding. Some people think I'm just, a webinar guy. I'm not a webinar guy. Anything to do with billing, coding, documentation, we have books. We have videos. You can contact us just for an hour. You want to pick my brain for an hour? You could hire me for an hour. You want me to come to your office? You want one of my staff members to come to your office? One of my consultants? I don't have to come. Most people request me, but it takes longer for me to get to your office because I have very limited time. You want an on-site? You want to buy a video? You want to buy a book? We got it all. Those of you that know me way back in the beginning when I started my company, I had one program. It was like, I call it the all-you-can-eat buffet. It was $7,000. It included everything. You know what I found out over a few years? Not everybody needs everything. Not everybody could afford $7,000. So I started to piecemeal and a la carte everything. We have some doctors that could afford the $7,000 program, but they don't need it. They don't need it, even though they could afford it. Some of them don't need it. We have a book, very good book on how to maximize reimbursement. Gives you a lot of good information about how to justify the most common chiropractic diagnosis codes with ortho, neuro, chiro. There's some good clinical stuff in there. How to pair your CPT codes. There's cervical radiculopathy. That pairs beautifully with mechanical traction like food and wine. I call myself a coding sommelier. I'm an expert at pairing codes. I'm not an expert at pairing wine and food. And I have it all in the book, how to pair your CPT codes and diagnosis codes and how to pick the codes that pay the most visits. And forms. You need forms? This is your one-stop forms shop. Every form you can possibly think of, I think we have handled. In my, I have created about, 300-400 forms over the last 12 years. I've taken my 75 greatest hits. I put them together. Letters of medical necessity, fight back letters, exams and treatment plans, a whole bunch of sample SOAP notes, financial and administrative forms, financial policies, ABN forms, cell use forms, policy on your staff. Had a doctor says, Marty, my staff are constantly on their cell phones. What do I do? Okay. I told him, do you have my employee cell phone policy? No. Oh, okay, I have one. Yeah, you might need to do that. Everybody's always on their phone. How about the checks go to the patient? You have a form on that? Health savings account statements, do you have that? Patient comes in, they can't afford your care. You have a hardship form? We got them all. You need a soap note checkup? Like a little tune-up, oil change? Bring your soap notes in for a checkup. We'll review your notes. We have a 5-chart. It's called our comprehensive chart audit and fee schedule review. We look at 5 charts. We'll help you find money you're leaving on the table. We've helped many doctors add 1 CPT code to their practice. It's added an additional $10,000 to their practice just by adding one code. Contact us. We'll give you references. We have hundreds of references, willing and eager doctors to have you talk to them about target coding. Hundreds of testimonials. Here's our videos. All right, so let's take a look and see what questions have come in. Again, here's our contact information before we go. I want to make sure you got that. All right, let's see what questions have come in.